All right. Okay. Welcome again today. So I just quickly want to talk about why you should do it yourself, why you should DIY when it comes to scholarship applications. Why should you do it yourself? All right. So um, okay, let me just start. We have someone watching already, and then I know people keep joining us. They see the notification. All right. So um, one you must have seen a lot of guys advertising different places saying, let me do applications for you, let me help you with scholarship applications, let me help you write your essays, let me help you write this, let me help you do that. And then you see, of course, people have been paying a lot. I remember when I was making my applications to, I had someone talk to me saying I should pay him and he's going to make applications for me. And then was requesting for, was it 40,000 naira there or something like that? And then you'll make applications to maybe one school or so, if I remember well. So why should you actually do it yourself? Why should you actually write your essays yourself? Why should you be the one to be involved with your CV yourself? Why should you be the one to do your SOP yourself? Of course, you can give people for reviews, but there are benefits to this thing. Now, you must have heard about how expensive Japa is. People talk about, it's so expensive to Japa out of Nigeria and all those stuff. It's so expensive to do that. Oh, and they start calculating money. Someone calculated to me how much he has spent trying to do all these things to Canada. That was before I left Nigeria. Just when I was leaving. And then he said he has spent around 700,000 naira. And that's so pathetic, very painful. Now, one major reason, one big reason why you should even do it yourself is number one, to conserve money. It's very, very important. When you hear people talking about how expensive it is, it's because they've been contracting people to actually do it for them. It's because they've been asking people to make applications for them. They want to make book for visa sessions. They ask people to do it for them. They want to book for this, book for that. They ask people to do it for them, and those ones charge them. They don't do it for free. They charge them. Okay, so number one reason why you should decide to do it yourself is because you want to conserve money. Right. See, this scholarship application, everything they are doing is just coming online to find stuff, make some search, maybe use Google, the search engine, and then they are charging you for it. Of course, they are working for it actually. If you are able to do it yourself, you will conserve a lot of money. For example, take the story of this man that said he would help me to apply to a school then, and then he wanted to collect, I think, 40 or 50K, wanted to collect from me, was what I wanted to collect from me then. And then I got no, I think it was mentioning some schools, and I went to search online myself, the schools it was mentioning. And it seems either that school is a free application school or something, or they don't give scholarship, they just give admission without funding or something like that. And this guy will collect money and he will tell me he has made the application for me, boy, that I got admission. Now I should start looking for funding. So he will be applying to a school where the application is free. It will be, the schools will not give me funding. I will start looking for funding when I have the free the admission. So one reason you should do it is that you're able to monitor the schools you're applying to. Okay. So these guys, they just come and apply to one school that's easy to get into. Okay? I tell you, there are so many schools that are so easy to get into, but you won't get funding. There are so many schools in the US, in UK, especially UK, you get admissions without funding. So those guys, you just apply to one of those schools and then they give you your admission letter and you start looking for funding around. Well, you have spent money. Okay. So number one, conserve your money. Do it yourself. Okay. In doing conserving your money, you're also able to look out for those schools yourself. You know which schools you actually want to apply to. And some of them, they don't even care what the programs those ones are running. They just apply. for you blindly. They don't care what you actually want to do, what your research interest in is. They just apply for you. They just apply to those schools. They just say, oh, for them, free application schools is like, woo, free money. They charge you, they will tell you, oh, the application fee, you have to pay 40,000, and then they will say, oh, you have to pay me 10,000 for blah, blah, blah. But they will go and apply to free application schools, and you won't get the scholarship. They don't have funding, schools that don't have funding. Okay, so uh, when you do it yourself, you are able to control the schools you're applying to by yourself. You're able to monitor schools that actually have funding. You actually want that funding. So you're able to choose schools that actually have funding for you. That's very, very, very important. That's very, very important. Okay. So aside from conserving money, you're able to monitor the schools that have been applied to. And when people talk about SOP too, like, oh, let's write your SOP for you. No one can write your statement of purpose like you. No one. You are the one that knows your history. You are the one that knows your story. You are the one that knows what you actually want to do. You are the one that knows the school you are applying to. You are the one that knows your research interests. You are the one that knows all these things. You know all these things. These people don't know. They just know that you want to apply to so school, and they write a general SOP for you. Okay. So you need to be able to write it by yourself. Learn how to write it. We have so many resources on YouTube here, on online, anywhere, just even on Twitter, those things that we share on Twitter, that we share Facebook, everywhere. You can learn how to write it by yourself. Now it's good, you can ask for review. People do review. I do review for people. There are a lot of guys who help people review SOP. That's fine, that's beautiful. But you should learn to write it by yourself. Now, I will share a story. We were on Twitter space some days ago, and someone was sharing the story of a Nigerian who was studying in Canada. And then they were given some research work, some research projects to do. Not project per se, but some things that has to do with research. The person has to study and then some articles, write some things, submit back. And for 2 semesters, this person could not do it. And they had to send that guy, or that person, I don't know if it's a guy or lady, they had to send the person away from the school. The person had to draw, the person was sent back to Nigeria, basically. Okay. So for such a person, you want to ask, how did the person get the admission in the first place? Did this person, or whoever this guy or lady, did the person not write statement of purpose? Did the person not do applications? Did the person not do all this stuff that we do during application process? How did this person scale through? SOP. In writing SOP, you would have spent significant amount of time learning about what you are in talking about what you have done, talking about what you will do, your goals and all those things. You have spent significant amount of time in digging deep to be able to ask those probing questions. Okay. And that was how this person lost the opportunity. The person probably, we don't know, but most likely went through the route of those who will do it for them. The person probably didn't do all those application stuff himself. Okay, and then the person ended up becoming a scapegoat in quotes. So you want to learn how to write all these things yourself. So your SOP, for example, you are the one that knows the professor you are interested in. If you give someone one SOG in Lagos, for example, you give the person, let's say, 150,000 naira, the person look for schools for you. The person does not know your interest. Remember, the person has different clients that is helping. So the person does not even care what even if you tell the person that this is what I want, let's say chemistry, I want to do organic chemistry. The person just look for any professor he sees in that school and then just start writing. Okay, not exactly your own interest. And you wonder why some people don't even get the scholarship, the funding after they get the admission. It's because of some of these things. The person probably didn't write everything to align what you actually desire, what you actually have. So it is very, very, very important. Write it yourself. Write your SOP yourself. You can give it out for people to review. Yeah, that's very possible. People can help you review it. Write it yourself. Your CV too. Write it yourself. You can give it out for reviews. Okay? You shouldn't know. I was reading a post somewhere, and the person was looking at his CV and was saying, "Is this me? Is this me?" No, you shouldn't look at your CV and be asking, is this me? You should look at your CV and you should be able to say, yes, that's me. That's me. Yes, that's me. I got this there. Okay. Of course, you can have people review it, use good grammars, use good expressions for you. That's very good. That's cool. But you should not look at your CV and be asking, is this me? Is that you? So aside from saving money, you actually know what you want to apply to. You know yourself best. One other importance of this is that it helps in graduate school. Okay? That is the beginning of your writing process, because in graduate school, you'll be reading, you'll be writing. So one important step, one important process is that you start learning how to write. So your SOP, remember, it's more like a writing, it's another writing sample for those interviewers to see. Okay? So if you have another person write it for you entirely, that's fraud. That's academic fraud in itself. So it's a writing process already. You are writing already. Okay, so because in graduate school you will write. So but doing it by yourself means that you have started writing. It's part of you. It's part of your experience now. Okay, so please do it yourself. Now, I've seen some people even concerning visa applications. Many people don't even know that is what they should and can do themselves. I've seen many people pay a lot for visa applications, whereas visa fee I think the application fee is less than 100,000 naira even in Nigeria. I did all these things myself, and that's around what I paid. GTB, you pay, you can do it. Okay, so do it yourself. When you use those agents, there are agents in Nigeria, they will tell you, oh, we promise you this thing, they will promise heaven and earth. They will promise heaven and earth on things they know they actually cannot influence. They promise heaven and earth that this person, they will give you the visa, this and that. And that's why many people want to go through agents many times. See, the truth is the agent has no say at all whatsoever in the visa granting process. He has no say at all. He has no say in assistantship, in those who are offered the assistantship. The agent has no say in those who are chosen for whatever. Okay, the agent is also using online resources just like you, applying online, paying, going to bank, doing all those stuff. And of course, yeah, people can be busy. I know that. I know people have different reasons why they delegate, they pay for these things. But it's very, very good if you do it yourself. So aside the fact that you are not spending too much money, you know what you actually want, what you actually desire. It helps you in grad school. You also gain experiences by doing that, so that you can put others through. Okay, you gain experience by doing that, and then you are able to put others through. So I know this will still be there'll still be a lot of things to debate about this. I know there are folks even on Twitter everywhere who are saying I write SOPs for people and all those stuff. I personally I don't buy into the idea of writing SOPs for people. Let the people, let the person or whoever is applying write SOP, and then let them ask for reviews from people. Let them ask for reviews from people. That is very, very, very possible. But when they start writing it for you, that's fraud in my own perspective, in my own view. And remember that story of the person who was sent back, sent away. You don't want to fall into that category. The person was given the research assignment for the first semester. The person did not submit. They extended it for the person the second semester, and then the person still did not submit, and then add another one to submit the second semester, and the person still could not submit. The person could not write. The person probably, who knows, contacting people from Nigeria to write for them or whatsoever. That's not sustainable. Okay, you cannot continue to contact whoever is writing for you on and on without pay. Continue to pay. It cannot be like your own work. It cannot be like your own work. So please learn how to write, move around, search how to write your SOP, check the process of the process from the day from searching for school to your visa to travel. In fact, let me just summarize the process. The first thing you should do, or the first thing you will do if you are doing it yourself. Okay, the title of this video is how and why you should do it yourself. I've covered why. Now, how should you do it yourself? The first thing you want to do is to look for schools. For example, in the course you are doing, if you are doing, let's say, biology, you want to look for schools offering assistantship in biology. You want to look for schools offering scholarships in biology. Now, general scholarship, I've always talked about general scholarship. We can always still come to that. But if you're looking for US as an example, you want to look for assistantships in biology. Okay, if you type that in Google, you'll see a whole range of results. It comes out and you're able to see schools offering assistantship. What's the next thing you should do? You can email graduate coordinators. You can start looking at professors' research work. You can start looking at those you actually love their research work and you have interest in. And then you note their names. You start looking at them, start shooting them emails. Of course, you don't shoot emails straight away. You want to read their papers. You want to read their articles. After doing that, start shooting cold emails. You want to get in contact with potential supervisors, potential advisors. After doing that, you want to know the exactly amount you want to spend. Okay, you want to know how much is the application fee. You want to know this school, do they require GRE? Do they require TOEFL? Do they require whatever they require? And then you want to take the necessary exams. You want to tell them, okay, I'm from an English-speaking country. You write a mail to them and tell them to waive TOEFL for you, or they ask you to write Duolingo, whichever one they do. And then you want to do all those processes. And then the next thing, you want to make applications. You want to make to your referees, ask your referee to write a good reference letter for you. After asking your referees to write a good reference letter for you, you submit your applications. Okay, they send their own reference letters too. And then you wait. When you wait, when the result is out, let's say they tell you, oh, you have been given funding, you have been awarded an assistantship position in, let's say, chemistry in Florida State University, as an example now. What's the next thing you need to do? You need to get your I-20. Okay, I-20 is a major travel document that you need. It's one of the major documents you will take to the embassy for your visa. So you request for your I-20. You have a family, you want to tell them you have a family. They send the I-20 for your families too, for family members too. Okay, so you have your I-20. What's the next thing to do? You go to the website of the US consulate in Nigeria, Lagos or Abuja, whichever one you choose, and then you initiate the process. Okay, you want to find the process of paying for your application, your visa application. GT Bank, I think that's the bank they use in Nigeria, GT Bank. You want to pay the application, you want to have your receipt, everything with you. You also want to pay service fee because you will need that document during your interview. You pay your service fee, you register everything. You need details from your I-20 to register for the service fee. So you get your I-20 first, and then you register for the service fee. And then you need details from the service fee for your interview at the embassy. Okay, so you get all those necessary documents, you take it to the embassy. These are things you can do on your own, sitting down. At the embassy, they ask you questions, they ask you things, you tell them what you want to study, what you want to become, you tell them your goals, you tell them beautiful things when they ask you questions. The funding, you tell them you have assistantships and all those stuff. And then boom, you have a visa. What's the next thing if you have your visa? Of course, you already have your passport, that's how you can have a visa. What should be the next thing? You want to wait till that moment when you can travel. I think that's 3 months before the start of your program. You want to wait for that time. And then you start looking for tickets. You start looking for airlines, which has cheap tickets. You want to book ahead of time. You can book yourself. Of course, there are third parties when booking. Why I use them is because they do promo sometimes. And then the amount you register with them may be cheaper than the airline directly. But still online, I'm not calling any agent to help me. Technically, they are agents, but they have their website linked to the airline's website, or they just route it through themselves, whichever way they do it. You register, and then you get a flight, and then boom, you are moving to the United States or whichever country you are going to. So you can do it yourself. These are things you can do yourself. There's nothing hard, nothing special in all these things. You can actually do it yourself. So if you are thinking of conserving money, these are things you can do yourself. For example, ask me how much I spent on all my applications when I was doing it in Nigeria. Okay, let's say I applied to how many schools then? Let's say I applied to 5 or so schools, 2 schools, $60. I got application fee waiver for like 2 or 3 schools. And then I got admitted. After admission, I paid money for my I-20 to be shipped to me through UPS. I think I paid something, 20 something or 30,000 naira to ship my document, the I-20 to me. And then what's next? I think I paid 80,000 for visa fee at GT Bank. What next? I think I paid $200 for service fee. It's presently $350. What next? I went to the embassy, collected my visa. I mean, that's all. When I got my visa, I paid how much to travel, maybe 200 and something thousand to travel to New York. And then in New York, I paid maybe 100 and something dollars to travel to Florida, and that's it. Okay, aside for that, I wrote GRE, which I wrote like 2 or 3 years before that time. GRE, I wrote it for 45K. TOEFL, I wrote it for 45K. So add everything together. I mean, people quote 2 million, 3 million, 5 million. Many times it's because they are paying agents to actually do it for them. If you are doing it yourself, if you can do it yourself, you discover that what you will spend eventually will be far lesser than what all these guys quote. Okay. And aside that, you'll be able to, you own it. You can talk about it the way I'm talking about it. Okay. You'll be able to, put others through the same way. Okay. And then the most important, even if you have to pay for some of this process, the most important, don't pay for your SOP writing. Write it yourself. Excuse it. I mean, try and get the time to write it. It's very, very important to do this yourself, because this is you. This is part of your work. This is what you have submitted. This will be in a file, in a record for how long, we don't know. So this is your record. They expect that this is what you have written by yourself. When they are reading SOP, they are hopefully communicating with you. Those admission committee members, they are hopefully, their mind, they want to communicate with you through what you have written. Okay. And then when another person writes it for you, they're communicating with another person. Okay. And then when they see you in person, they can correlate what has been written to you in person. Okay. So it's very, very important you write it yourself. So I can see here there's no question. Of course, just few of us are here watching, but that's fine. So if there is no question, I think I can just end this video now. Yeah, there will be a webinar. I'll still share it. I'll still talk about it on Twitter. I've received questions, a lot of questions on, okay, what should I do how do I move from being a student to working in the United States? How do I do that transition period? The transition from being a student to being a worker and working legally in the United States, and then moving to permanent residency and all those stuff. Yeah, so I'm planning a webinar, a meeting for either Friday, not Friday, for either Saturday or Sunday. Saturday is 6th, Sunday is 7th. So either Saturday or Sunday. I'll choose a date. I should announce it tomorrow. We should talk about that. There are actually different routes you can take. Being a student, starting your OPT, being that you want to be on H1B visa, H1 visa, there is EB2 visa, there are different routes you can actually take. Okay, so I'll be talking about this Saturday or Sunday. I will choose a date, either Saturday or Sunday. I think Sunday might be convenient for most people. Let me see, no suggestion here. You can't okay, yeah, Temi, I see what you have written here. Okay, so I always tell people, if you can't tell people about yourself, you are not ready to study. Studying abroad is not a joke. Yeah, that's true. So you should be able to tell people about yourself, not others telling them about you. You should own it. This is you. This is your life. Okay, so you said, can you give us details for other countries too? Okay, yeah, I can give details for other countries, definitely. When I talk about that on, or what do you mean? Do you mean The process, is that what you mean, Timmy? Do you mean the process like the one I just explained for US, the steps I just explained for US? Is that what you mean? Or you are talking about transitioning from student to working? Let me know what you're telling me. Yeah, Josiah, Shay, thank you. I greet you too. So I will announce that on Twitter. We'll see which day we choose. Either uh, we'll go with Saturday or Sunday. Sunday might be convenient for most people because some people still go to work on Saturday. So we might choose either of that. We'll talk about this. Which which one? How do you actually do the transition? I know people are having that decision to make between US and Canada. And I know many Nigerians actually want to go to Canada. I don't know. They are welcome anyway, that's true. But I know many people want to go to Canada, but I will talk about US, how to do the transition. The question I get is, hope they will not send me back after I finish my master's, after I finish my PhD. I actually have folks who have finished their master's, their PhD, who are working presently. So we talk about how to do that transition and what it means, what routes you can take, and all those stuff. All right. Okay. You mean the process of getting scholarship or assistantship in other countries? Okay, so basically, let me just summarize for other countries. Let me just do the summary for other countries. UK, for example, now one major form of scholarship for those guys is Commonwealth scholarship, Commonwealth shared scholarship. That's one major thing they do. Commonwealth shared, Commonwealth. And then Europe, generally, there's Erasmus Mundus. Generally, there's DAAD for Germany. So the process many times is not as straight as US. Okay? The process many times is like you apply to the school, you get your admission, then you apply to the scholarship body so that they can fund you, so that they can start paying the school on your behalf. So that's what it is many times. DAAD for Germany too. And then some of those other scholarships. That's usually what it is. But there's a government of Germany scholarship that many people don't even know about. I will research that one well and share it very soon. I'll talk about it very soon. Many people don't actually know about it. When I met someone who won that scholarship, that was the first time I was hearing that scholarship, government of Germany or something like that scholarship. I will find out more about that and talk about it. So many times that's how the process goes. For example, Hong Kong too, there's this beautiful scholarship in Hong Kong, so that the Hong Kong government, they fund some of those schools, like 7 or 10 schools that they fund. They give funding for students and they receive doctoral students from all over the world. And then when guys come all over the world, they choose like 2 or 3 schools. They rank in first, second, and third choice. Okay, so those schools actually select students and nominate to the agency, and those agencies do the final selection. But for many times when the school selects you, the agency will most likely go with the person, except there is a problem. So, and of course, we have Nigerians who have won that in Hong Kong too. That's very possible. That is school money. And I tell you, Hong Kong has one of the best schools in the world too. That's very possible. So those who are interested in Hong Kong can search more about that. I should share that too. I should share about that too. There is a Singapore too. Singapore has beautiful schools too. Almost the same process. There is a Singer Award scholarship. Singer Award. Singer is Singapore International, blah, 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 some graduate award. I can't remember what N stand for. Okay, they have beautiful schools. So they have like few schools, like 5 or 7 schools that they work with too. The same process with Hong Kong. The agency, ISTA, something like that, they fund those schools and then they ask students to apply. Okay, and then there's the way they select students and all those places. I think you apply to the scholarship, to the agency, you also apply to the schools, and then eventually you're chosen. And those guys pay cool money, okay? They pay cool money. And then there are also schools in Germany too. So aside from the scholarships available in Germany, most of the schools are tuition free. Okay, so you can just apply there, and then it's tuition free. So all you need to do is just to take care of your own basic needs. course, you will eat food, you will get accommodation, you will get other stuff, and you just have to sort for yourself. And many schools in Europe, to Finland, I think they still do all those free schooling. So in Denmark too, they have all those free schools too that you can apply to. So that's also very, very, very possible. So I'll talk about that in some other videos that I should make. I don't know when, but I'll talk about that. I can tweet about it too to just create the awareness. But you can start searching for all those things too. But of course, I just love, personally, I love the straightforward process that you have with US, where you just apply to the schools and they have the whole decision. They either choose you for assistantship or not. I just like, personally, I love that process. Oh, I forgot, there's South Korea too, okay? There's South Korea too, there is Japan too. We have folks in Japan. There's MEXT scholarship for Japan. Okay, so, and of course, in Canada too, there are scholarships you can benefit from. Because in Canada, you have to secure a potential advisor. Before you apply, you must be sure that the advisor is willing to work with you. So you secure a potential advisor, and then you apply. Of course, many of those schools don't have funding like US. So what you have to do is to depend on the advisor's funding. So that means if the advisor does not have funding, you have to come with your own funding, or you look for scholarships that can provide you with funding. For example, MasterCard and some other scholarship that you can actually take advantage of. So there are many like that. Oh, there's also this scholarship, I've forgotten the name. It's for those in the those in agricultural field, you can get that scholarship. I shared it sometimes ago on my timeline. I was interacting with someone who won that scholarship, of course, in Nigeria, won that scholarship. So there are a lot of scholarships that many people are not even aware of that you can take advantage of. So yeah, I will talk about those processes in some other videos and some tweets and all those stuff. So but the crux of the matter is that you can actually do all these scholarship applications yourself. Do it yourself. Okay, you will save a lot of money, you will save a lot of stress, and in fact, you will grow in doing that. Growth comes with doing it yourself, not just in scholarship, in anything generally. Growth comes in doing all these things yourself. All right, let me see if there's any other thing here. If there's any question, I think it will be a good time to end the video. All right, no question. Thank you guys for joining me today. It was not really planned. I didn't really plan to have this, but I said, okay, let me just quickly talk about this before leaving the office and going home. So I can quickly do, just spend 20 minutes to do. And then you guys joined in. Thank you. Thank you so much. And of course, to those who will still be watching this after, I've stopped the live, after I've stopped this live session. Thank you for tuning in. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed. It's very important to subscribe. All right, God bless you. See you later. Have a nice day.